They are. I think it's good for our players. They're up. They're here early. A lot of them here at 5:15 in the morning, and so now they go from here to class. And so I think it makes them more responsible, and it's easier for us to keep track of them too. And so I think once they get used to it, I think they actually like it.
Did the players get your message after the game the other night that even though you won, it just wasn't good enough, and how angry and upset you were?
I hope so. I think that our players are around me every day, so I think they understand. It's been talked about a lot about the standards that we have and our expectations of play around here. And so when a game happens like that, a game that basically is two different halves. First half we score 3 touchdowns, they don't score any. 3 or 4 possessions are touchdowns. Our defense is playing good, special teams is playing good, very few penalties, 90% completion. That's how we expect to play. And so the second half was very disappointing. So I don't think I surprised our players at all. And I think they have the same expectations why they came here. They came here to do great things.
And a team this week that's even bigger than last week, which will make your task even more difficult.
Yeah, this is a very good team. A team that over the last 10 years has been as good as anybody in the country. And they've gone into any place. They played in big bowl games and won. They're not going to be intimidated by coming into SC or to Coliseum at all. So we're going to have our hands full. And since we've been back this time, I would say this is the best front 4 we've seen and had to face. The whole front 7 in general is really, really good and dominant at times.
Where are you guys at health-wise in terms of guys getting back from injury and just come back in the game?
Well, I think we're pretty good. Out of the game, nothing really happened in the game, which is very fortunate. Anytime you can be 1-0 and not have any big injuries, it is a good thing. And so we can go back and work on the little things. We've added Mark back to our roster, and so that gives us some depth. And really, our goal is to make our roster extremely competitive, not just down here with the ones, but in service teams. So adding a guy like Buck Allen to it, all those little guys that you can add as they come back in or that you sign, they qualify, they make your team better because that's who you're going against, and that hurt us a lot last year. Our service teams were a lot of kids we just found that were going to school here that aren't even football players. So hopefully this is going to help us.
Is Tyler going to play this week against Utah?
Yes, he will. I don't know how much. That'll depend on how the week goes.
What was the basis for the
doing everything right. He had a number of things that he had to do between myself and between Pat, and he did and completed all those things, and hopefully he'll continue that way.
How did he look? How has he looked since he's been back?
He's looked very, very good. He did service team all week for us last week. Was very productive down there, worked really hard. I know they beat him up down there, which is what he needed after missing camp, so he still has a lot of work to do, but it's good to have a guy who's played a lot back. As you look at that game Saturday and you reflect back on it and go over it again and again, so many of the critical mistakes in that game were made by players who hadn't played before. And that's the norm, until you've played, you haven't played, and so that showed up a lot in that game. It wasn't the guys who played a lot making the mistakes. And it was the guys that was their first time playing. And so anytime that you can add a guy who's been there, done it, they usually play better than the guys right off the bat.
Are you looking to make some changes maybe at the offensive line this week?
Yeah, we're not going to get into specifics, but we're looking at everything. Obviously, we want to increase our level of play up there, be more consistent, and hopefully Abe gets back in that mix. He was our starting guard when he got hurt. So, and I think we'll be better. Even if nothing changes, we should be better because, like I've mentioned, 4 of those 5 guys had never played the position they were playing in a significant college game. So you're going to have some growing pains. And I had to remind myself of that too. Obviously, I was very critical after the game, but with so many players offensively, I think the game was an example. So many of those guys offensively had never taken a snap of real football. And they're in there playing in critical situations. And defense, we had some more veterans. It was flopped from last year, and so I think that's why the opener was the way it was.
Speaking of being critical, it seemed like a lot of fans had a negative reaction to what you said on TV after the game about having 2 good players on offense. Do you regret phrasing it in that way, or do you still mean it?
Yeah, I do. That's not the question. Was about what did you learn today, and really what I learned was that there were 2 guys that had great games, and so I didn't phrase it, and I told our offense that it was more than 2. I didn't mean it that way. Obviously we had some guys that did play well, but coming out of that game, the feeling was from watching that game there were 2 guys that played great on offense, and so I didn't phrase it the right way.
After watching the film, what area do you feel needs the biggest improvement now compared to maybe how you felt kind of emotionally after the game?
Same, really. Offensive line, inconsistency with the tight ends. Thought the receivers played really well. Quarterback played great. And you can't diminish how well the quarterback played. I know our offense has taken some hits for lack of production in the second half, but that wasn't his fault. the guy was as good as you can play almost. And I think at one point there, I think he's 20 of 22. That didn't happen on air. So he played great. The running backs were fine. It was the offensive line and tight end that we need to be more consistent at in order to have a really good game. And it's not that hard. We did it in the first half. You'll win every game you play if you don't turn the ball over, you don't get sacked, and you score touchdowns in 75% of your drives.
Having only played 43 players, and you saying that you wanted a lot of guys to come in repetitions, and obviously Minnesota creeping up there prevented that. But what do you see, I guess, getting more time out there?
Well, we've got to play more guys defensively. Coming in, we had that plan. We did it some, and then we got a little nervous over there with the game getting tight. And the game had that feeling in the second quarter like it was on its way to being a blowout, to where we'd be able to get them in later and not have to play our ones, in the fourth quarter. And unfortunately, it didn't go that way. So our goal is to get more guys in. Our goal is to get Lamar in. Our goal is to get the 2 freshman defensive line in, to play George Huku a little bit more. We've got to play another corner because Nikel wore out, playing at every snap.
What are you going to do with the secondary coaching?
Yeah, between my father and Willie Mack, it'll go just like it was last week, for the rest of the season. And I'm sorry, between Sammy and Sammy, really, we have got a lot of confidence in Sammy. Sammy's been with us now for 2 years. He's done a really good job. He's never really coached before as far as running the room, and so my dad will help him with that. And I think together they'll do well back there. I know the players like Sammy a lot too.
Is that the plan for the rest of the season?
He's leaving.
Pardon?
Is that the plan for the rest of the
Yes,
season?
that'll be the plan throughout the season, and we'll reevaluate it after the last game.
You're interested to see how Dylan would respond in practice today. How did he do?
Great. Thought he practiced as hard as he ever has. I think he's still out there working right now. So that's what you want to see as a coach. You want to see guys get better. You want to see guys accept criticism. When you tell them what you expect from them and not come out here and pout. We tell our players all the time, negativity will never get you more playing time or pouting. So you never know what the reactions are going to be. Like I said the other night in the conference call. So it was great to see. That's what we want. We want everybody to play well and practice hard. Have a lot of success here.
You had, I think, 13 or 14 guys that played for the very first time, whether true freshmen or redshirt freshmen. Anybody from that group play better than you expected?
I wouldn't say expected because we have high hopes, but I thought that Deion Bailey and Hayes Ballard played really well for their first games in there. As I mentioned, the tight ends did some good things, but the 2 tight ends were inconsistent, especially with the drops. George Huku played well in his limited time, and then DJ did well. So that group of our first class there, to join the guys like Robert and Nikel that already played, is looking pretty good.
Last one. Watching tape of Utah, they intercepted a couple of passes. Blacken, what are your impressions of him?
Very athletic, all over the place, kind of a team leader type guy. Played really well last year, and so you can see, how he's just stepped in there.